of the team. So that is what makes them very much in a leading on most of the rounds because of the survivability that they have in these matches. And that is what we ask for some of the teams. Yes, you can put in on the slays, on the kills, but you need to get survivability as well to get that placement point in this match. And speaking of match, AJ, we're starting the match right now. The flight path will be coming from the heat towards the docks, and the teams right now have easy reach onto their drop points.
And it seems to be a little peculiar here because Vitas are flying towards the outskirts of Dormitory and not directly to it, all to conquer that one Jackal, just a single player, leaving another one from Riley Esports high and dry. And it looks like the Jackal is just circling back to punish that player. No knocks coming through just yet. The rest of them hopping on in towards downtown. And at downtown, we do see a Jackal stolen away. And guess who is it? It is yet another player from Riley Esports. So both Riley as well as Vitas having the same idea, looking for the same compound, and they have one Jackal each. I'm quite curious to see if those Jackals get into combat up there in the air.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good show, really, to see a dogfight right now, especially when the teams have already been proficient on what it can, or we've seen so much proficiency from the team and what it can offer in a competition. But the finals, seeing this new tactics coming from a different team who hasn't used this so far, this might be surprisingly or probably another bomb that will take their team down from this round after the game. But we'll have to see. We'll have to find out if that is something from their sleeves that they are keeping for a very long time and might bring them to a different height. But as expected, AJ, we still have NRX432 in the farm area taking down the first casualty in this game, the Butcher.
And nobody cares about the Butcher at this point already, NRX432, because, you know, you keep doing the exact same thing. And I don't see exactly how is that serving your team up at all. Just change the strategy. Try something else. Try a cheese strat. I don't care what you do, but I want to see more of those points from NRX432, even if it doesn't seem like it'll be affecting anything out there on the battlefield. But I want to see some effort, right? NRX432, they've just been scrambling around, taking down the Butcher. I mean, I want to see them shoot at something that can shoot back a little bit more.
How about jumping into the tier area where they have the AI? At least that, like, even before you see them, it shoots back at you. But the thing is, like, one shot, then it's dead. It's already turned into loot. So at least that's one good point. But like, kidding aside, I would agree. NRX432 really needs to bring it on because it's so many times already that they've seen them at the bottom of that post game, and like, it's not that we want a team in there, but the brand like NRX, even on the 420 side, we want them to provide us with not only entertainment but good engagement so that it will bring the fans. And if I'm not mistaken, like, a huge majority of the fans out there is like representing and shouting out the name of NRX. So this is a chance for you to give those fans some justice and bring us a good show, good scores in this fight.
You know, but I think the whole NRX brand, although they are one of the fathers that kind of built this whole scene, they need much more time out there on the battlefield if they want to find their way back in here in order to conquer. A little bit of, you know, extra advantage might be taken by some of the teams out there by whatsoever means. But if you are NRX 420 and if you want to win this with integrity, it's going to take a little bit of time. In fact, it's going to take a lot of time, nephew.
A lot of time is needed, really, but not so much for this day number 3 of the grand final, because they only have 5 rounds left, including this one. And with the movement that we've seen so far, not enough of damage has been done against Vitas. And finally, I will not be laughing anymore. Blink in there for the first slay, and the rest of the teams might have been spotted already. One knock already by Reagan from afar. And it's a good start, a good stride being done by NRX 420.
Ray gun, opportunity. Kuzma knocked down onto the ground. One final guy in there. And it looks like clearly this time around, NRX 420 wants to go to town with all of these players. And with Javi taken down by Ray gun, they start things off hot. 4 back-to-back slays coming through, all courtesy of Vitas as they hop on in front of NRX 420 to challenge them in the outskirts as the circle closes on in. NRX 420 now need to start moving and following that circle. Although not a lot of damage, you do not want to get caught outside of the circle by one of those bigger teams, because then that circle's just helping down your HP, whereas the other teams can just farm those kill points on you and continue moving along. But this is the kind of performance we want to see out of NRX 420, and we at the very least get to see it at the start of this round number 2.
A good start for NRX 420 at this point, but I would agree with you in staying outside of the safe zone. This is more of the Medstrat that was used previously from the other competitions by NRX 420, but this time, like, there's no recovering from that. Like, even if you use the med, it is still damaging, and at some point you really need to move first for by the circle, and that is where some of the teams are getting a lot of kills, when they go in onto the edge and wait for that gatekeep capacity that they have, especially with the snipes as well as the long range engagement. Then they can get a lot of kills in there just waiting and guarding those spots. But we'll have to see if that will be the case at some point against NRX 420 as we jump over. Sucre is already downturned to dog tag, and it is ENE Phoenix battling against Vagabonds Nomads at that point, AJ.
Conquerors, this is an opportunity for them to continue conquering out there on the battlefield. If you look at how they're doing overall on the leaderboards, it looks like Dow Conquerors have managed to conquer quite a number of placement points as well as slays for themselves. But the one thing that they haven't been able to do is quickly catch up with Riley Esports. But that's not a huge problem because they just now straggling 4 points behind them. So we just need to see decent consistency out of the Conquerors here, Neptune.
Conquerors really need to get the inconsistency to be out of the way, because that is where they usually fall. And when we say fall, that is, they had the 3rd spot from the start of the day of the finals, but they fell down in there because of the consistency of the other teams in here moving towards the top spot of the leaderboard. But AXP right now is in here, is now trying to take a peek against ABC Mystic, and ABC Mystic really not providing a lot of surprises for the rest of the teams. They are expected to be on black market, and Airborne right now has been put into play, but SMRS gameplay in here coming from Viper will take that out, and there's no escape for ABC Mystic. But a good play in here coming from this team of Royale Esports with that, oh no, it's not Royale Esports, it's ABC Mystic using the Jackal to their advantage. So we'll have to find out if this will play for them. But with those engagement happening and gunshots happening, the 4 Kings will be moving in, and we'll have to find out if they can convert this game on them. And the 4 Kings right now is just in there. A backstab coming from Mizuki Cutie and the sync as well with a VY15. And it's seldom that we see that VY15 on the gameplay, especially in FPP game. But the hit out there from AXP taking down 4 Kings at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, they have been left in there hanging dry on 15th spot.
Oh my goodness, that's something we definitely didn't expect, man. After the players of 4 Kings did so well in the previous round, we were expecting them to continue climbing up the leaderboard. Just 3 points behind our Conquerors, and AXP Eternals have just managed to snuff them out. And this is an important fight for AXP Eternals because they were fighting with Armin and Rosina as well as 4 Kings. They want to replace them in that 6th spot. And this is a great start to doing exactly that, Neptune. Although they are quite far away from the 4 Kings, by taking them down in itself is a good way to start their journey up the leaderboard.
Yeah, there's a good start for them, and a lot of teams has been challenged in this area as well. And because of the distraction the Four Kings has done in there, even if they are taking the higher spot, it's more of the mechanical skills as well as the strats of EXP. Eternals for that pinch maneuver. That is the downfall of the Four Kings at that point. The distraction in front, the flank from the right, and then the backstab happening as they try to move out and get away from harm's way. They were backstab in there with a complete squad, not even taking down one of the members of AXP. But as we can see, gunshots really magnets everyone or other teams out where, especially as they are trying to catch up the points. So we have the Conquerors right now who will move to that direction of the previous battle.
Conquerors, as usual, they try to conquer, but Vagabonds Esports, big engagement against Almighty Prime. We talked about how this is one of the teams that can shut down the Vagabonds Esports squad. But Blue, flanking around from the right-hand side, too smart, bro. No information, but they play this to perfection. Blue disengages Yato from the other side. Vagabonds Esports and Almighty Prime peel away from each other. And we don't get to see that fantastic engagement.
Yeah, that could have been a good start for that engagement right now. But I think there's one thing that we really want to see, AJ.
That's a bigger one. Vagabonds Esports against Nomads. And they peel away from each other. Somebody, I give up, man. This is so frustrating.
Well, I guess they have been using that peeler so many times already. They peeled away a lot of gunfights, and I don't know how, when will they get to the scene wherein there's no peeling anymore, AJ?
Okay, this next engagement, at least against Team H, Armin and Rodzina, I highly doubt they'll peel away if they do spot them. Rodzina moving in slightly closer, inch by inch, out here in the snowy mountains. Yeah, Riley Esports, on the other hand, will be able to catch sight of AXP Kratos. High ground advantage, but Rold has got the tank to play around with. Not all the time you actually see someone bring the tank into play, but the attack, the plan is to take the airdrop, the pink one, and this is going to give them all of the guns that they have already modded out in that gunsmith. Let's see what they can play with it. Keys loses his life to the circle. It's a little unfortunate for 432.
3-2 right now. I mean, really not making it work in there on the gameplay as well as the rotation they have. We had a glimpse of them from Black Market, but this time the battle continues. Oh, head in there with a grenade, and there goes Rogue trying to Marceline out the sink. A little bit too much on accuracy, but that is what you want, especially as this team is gathering points all throughout just with the kills. So we'll have to see how much more damage can AXP put up into the fight, because in front of them or surrounding them is a different set of teams, and chances for them to kill them is possible.
Let's see what they can do here. The Eternals just constantly trying to tag up all of these players. They've already shut down the Four Kings. Now they want to shut down 420. Viper gets Zeus. That SMR is too spicy, Mizuki Cutie. Plus the Blink will be caught out as well. Everybody's playing this in the same style of Vagabonds Esports, Nomads, as well as Almighty Prime now. When they show that it is possible, everybody wants to take advantage. Bobby takes out Kimmy, but the damage has been done already. NRX 420 about to be toast as Raygun gets caught out in the open. Bobby, final survivor. Can he get away? He needs to. He desperately needs to retrieve that dog tag as well. But it looks like the game of survival is going to be so much more important for him. And I believe he has managed to get exactly that done. Please tell me that is true, because Team NRX 420, yes, they do have Raygun bleeding out, but Bobby has managed to disengage. And then the abysmal performance of NRX 420 still seems to continue here, but in the hands of the AXP Eternals, many teams facing the end of the round.
And the end of the round right now is not looking good, especially with how NRX 420... Oh, wait, there you have it. It's AXP, and not only that, Cal in there. So with I think that was they were ended in there on the 13th spot, and another team, or 14th spot if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to find out and check later on. But a lot of engagement has been happening already as we are on the third phase. This is where a lot of teams usually pop off compared to AXP, who started off early into this game. And Pixie right now, surprisingly being caught in there on the crossfire of Riley Esports from the window. So the opportunity for the kill might have been lost, but the information that has been gathered for Riley is prime for them to take this hit. But a lot of teams is also in here. Talking of Prime, Almighty Prime is in the crosshairs of AXP.
And the players of AXP Kratos, opportunity to perhaps down one of the best teams out there on the battlefield. But Almighty Prime, they don't look primed and ready for a battle just yet. Hanging by the edge of the cliff. They are not going to fall off anytime soon. They instead want to play the advantage against some of these other teams. Maybe allow Riley Esports to hop into this battle against the one and only AXP Kratos before they take advantage. Circle closing everyone in. It's still the third one. The fourth circle is just beyond us on the approach. Dre, Almighty Prime, they know AXP Kratos inside of that compound, but they do not want to take action just yet.
Almighty Prime right now just waiting for the perfect moment for them to strike, and as usual they get a location, a higher position against a different team. But this surprising that we see right now, it's Vagabond and Snowman's in here continuing on for the battle against Vagabond's Esports. But at this time, AJ, compared to what we've seen earlier, no one is winning from the gunfight. Everyone is just peeling out, and like I mentioned, they are getting into the bones right now because a lot of peeling from the skin to the meat, but still no one has been taken down. This time Almighty, a third or second time around that they will be meeting, and I will not be surprised if Almighty will be going away because they are aiming for that other win, the second win for today.
Almighty Prime, one more time. Henrix 432 this time isn't going to be as lucky. They ain't no Vagabonds, Nomads, or Esports for Prime to back away from. They want to take a big fight against them off screen. A little bit of an engagement. Sekre drops Sucre. And it seems like Riley Esports, although they have that high ground advantage, just not able to catch up any Almighty Prime players just yet. Dre from afar, tagging up the player from the side of Riley Esports. Disengages, peels back towards the edge of the hill. Uses all of that boulder as a little bit of cover. And that's a good strategy coming through here for the players of Almighty Prime. One thing that can work against them is the fact that Vitality CL might be able to execute a backstep against them when they're least expecting it. Joko, one more shot! And Jace manages to get that knock. And the rest of the players just not available to pick Joko up just yet.
Yeah, it's a 1-3 split right now for NX 432, and with that grenade might be the end of Jokog at this point, but no, nothing yet on the kill feed in there. I think the get back from Jokog is part of this game plan, and it will work for NX 432. And here we go, another teasing coming from both the teams of Vagabond, but it will not continue as Vagabond's Esports pull away. Vitality is signaling pretty in there on the other side, and Armament Zena this time will be a challenge for those in the top, and I think it's just waiting and getting the good position for the higher ground as they wait for the closing of this phase of the safe zone. And later on, with the 10 teams remaining, a lot of chaos might be ensuing, AJ.
Chaos indeed. Vagabonds Esports, no kills so far. You know how they like to take it slow, nice and easy towards that final circle before they pop off. Spotting out the players of the one and only Armin and Rodzina. Armin and Rodzina in a lot of trouble now, caught between the Conquerors and the Conquerors of the whole Survivor Season 2. Blue manages to knock down Zamiru, taking that fight as well as kill instantaneously. Yato, on the other hand, manages to tag up all of those players and hack them through. No more visibility. You gotta now depend on your senses out there, your ears as well as your eyes. What they see, you gotta go in and strike down. What you hear, you gotta respond to. But Nomads, as they approach that high hill, Vagabonds Esports conveniently say bye-bye. We're going to attack the players of the one and only Armin and Rodzina.
Yep, and Armin and Rodzina will be the target in there, but as they going for the approach, it is the Conquerors who they will need. And we also have AXP in there hanging back on the other side. I think Void is the only one remaining on this fight. And it's a good plan for him to really wait for the best moment to get the placement for this team. But Vagabonds and Nomads right now trying to chase down Vagabonds Esports. But a part of they are really not putting in the kills just yet because of the smokes right now that is covering this team. A lot of teams are taking the high ground, and that is Riley, who have an opportunity to get the kills against both teams, and ENE Phoenix right now from this side. So as the safe zone closes, AJ, I think a lot more of kills will be gathered in here, and it is more favorable to Vagabonds Esports.
Luki spotting out S here as he ran straight towards him. Kotaro, on the other hand, losing all of his armor, needs to go in for the prone, does exactly that, recovers just a little bit, but the whole squad of Vagabonds Esports on the way to snuff him out. Rel as well as Kotaro stands up. Luki takes out Watts. Rel responds fantastically by shutting down Luki, but now what else can he do? 6 more players out there on the battlefield. He gets dropped, and Vagabonds Esports once again the victors of that final circle.
Yeah, I guess I call it wrong. Almighty Prime really has lost their chance in there, especially in the final moment wherein Vagabonds Esports is a complete squad. And apart from taking the high ground, understanding where the next phase of the safe zone will be coming up, that is one of the objectives and priority of Vagabonds Esports, which we've seen earlier, not really taking that much on engagement, not so much on the kills, because they know that we are, they have a chance in there on the final moment to get everyone off guard, especially once everyone is meeting on that last circle. So we'll have to see further as to what damage can Vagabonds Esports put in against the other teams right now, because they are getting close to that 200 point mark already, and I